We're looking at the art of playwriting and how a playwright plots the dramatic action of his plays so that they can be performed in a way that will hold the audience's attention. As we said in the last section, the linear plot arranges dramatic action in a cause-to-effect manner. Within this plot, there are important individual actions that we refer to as points of plot structure. These are designed to have a significant enough effect on the sustained action of the play as to send into a much more intense direction. Scholars have referred to this as rising action. The important points of plot structure in a linear plot are the point of attack, the inciting incident, the main crisis, and the climax. We will also consider the important sustained action that follows the climax. This is the falling action of the play, or what is referred to as the resolution. Let's take a look at the first significant point of plot structure in a linear plot. This is referred to as the point of attack. The point of attack is the opening action of the play. It is the individual action that begins the sustained action of the play. In Master Harold and the Boys, it's the image of Willie washing the floor and Sam reading comic books. In Romeo and Juliet, it's the argument that occurs in the street between members of the Capulet and Montague families. The purpose of the point of attack is to introduce the audience to action that establishes where the story will be picked up. Although the action of the play in Master Harold and the Boys begins with Willie scrubbing the floor and Sam reading the comic books, the story of this play begins back when Harold, or Hallie as the boys refer to him, was a young man growing up in South Africa. As the play continues, we learn about Hallie's childhood and Sam and Willie's past associations with Hallie from conversations between the three characters. This is a dramatic device known as exposition. Exposition is anything that is said or done in a plot that reveals conditions or events that existed previous to the point of attack. The point of attack should include action that sow the seeds of the playwright's theme in the mind of the audience. In Master Harold and the Boys, we see Willie on his hands and knees scrubbing, and Sam standing upright reading. This single image very subtly reveals the class difference between these two characters. As we know, class is a very important theme in Master Harold and the Boys. And of course the argument between the lesser characters of the houses of Montague and Capulet reveal the central conflict in Romeo and Juliet. The next important point of plot structure is the inciting incident. In order to truly understand what the inciting incident is and how it functions in a linear plot, we will need to consider the nature and purpose of the sustained action that occurs between the point of attack and the inciting incident. Once we understand this, we will better be able to identify the inciting incident and what its significance is to the linear plot. The sustained action between the individual action that makes up the point of attack and the individual action that makes up the inciting incident typically serves two purposes. First, this action establishes the unique world of the play. The world of the play on stage is different from the world we live in. It is important that the playwright use this early sustained action to establish these differences. This allows the audience to orient themselves to the world of the stage and prepare themselves for the twists and turns that will take place. It's during this opening sustained action of the play that important exposition is shared with the audience to allow them to learn about the characters and the situation in which they now find themselves. The world of Master Harold and the Boys is the world of South Africa during the 1950s. The early action allows us to accept and learn about this world. It is also the world of a young white South African and his relationship with two native Africans, or Afrikaners. The language of this world is different from ours. It takes a while to orient ourselves to the dialect of that region. In Romeo and Juliet, the world Shakespeare has created is a violent and yet poetic world. The action and use of language allows us to adjust to this and accept the illusion created by this early action as reality. A second important purpose of the sustained action that occurs between the point of attack and the inciting incident is that the action creates a balance between the characters and the world of the play. This balance is typically created in one of two ways. A balance may be created by virtue of harmony between the characters and the world they live in. This can be seen in the early action of Master Harold and the Boys. Hallie, Sam, and Willie interact in harmony as they share stories and rib one another. Another way that balance can be created in the world of a linear plot is through conflict between the characters and the world they inhabit. In this way, the balance is held together in tension. This is seen in Romeo and Juliet, where the balance of the play is created through the conflict between the Montague family and the Capulet family. So the point of attack is the opening individual action of the play. Its purpose is to set up a point where the story of the play is taken up. It should also sow the seeds of the playwright's theme into the audience's mind. The sustained action that follows the point of attack and leads up to the point of plot structure referred to as the inciting incident serves two purposes. First, it establishes the unique world of the play through action and the dramatic device known as exposition. It also establishes a balance in this world in one of two ways, through harmony or conflict. The next important point of plot structure is the individual action known as the inciting incident. But before we learn how to identify the inciting incident and its significance to the linear plot, let's go to the task for this section and complete the assignment. We'll be back to you then.